Hello friends, welcome to Data Pandit. So today we are going to talk about three-tier architecture in AWS, and we are going to configure every infrastructure related to it, and we are going to connect from the application load balancer DNS to the database, which is residing in the private subnet. Okay, the third tier of the entire architecture. So let's understand what is the third tier architecture. It's a traditional architecture wherein we have a different tiers actually. So some of the applications are two-tier application uh, wherein the front end is a web server, and then the back end is like maybe a database server or any file system, right? So that is two-tier, and here in we have a three-tier architecture. So for the general three-tier architecture, so the entire outside infrastructure, infrastructure, and the virtual private cloud of a particular corporate, right? So within that we will have a front end web server, let's say, and then there will be application server wherein all the application specific logic would be residing, right? And the front end would be a simple script and the user interface, and then in the third tier there will be a database. So majorly we will have a front end would be internet facing, and then the second tier, which is called a application server, or that will be in the private network, which will not be directly accessible from the outside world. And then again, the database server also, third tier, would not be accessible from the outside. Rather, it would be accessible within the infrastructure or within the private cloud of the private network of the corporate. So, with those lines, like we have a virtual private cloud concept in AWS. So I have created this infrastructure. Okay, so let's say we are talking about Mumbai region. Okay, yeah, so we have a region, and the outside net we have a network. We have a virtual private cloud within the region, right? App South. Okay, and within that I have created different subnets, right? So there are public subnets and there are private subnets. So this within the virtual private cloud, I have an availability zone. So I have two availability zone in the picture. We can have three availability zone or more, depending upon the availability of the. So some of the regions support more than three availability zone, but Mumbai region supports three availability zone. Okay, but in this pictorial view, I have taken example of two availability zone to make the architecture highly available. So so within the VPC, I have an availability zone called App South 1A. This is one availability zone. Another availability zone is this one, which is called App South 1B. So in this, I have an public subnet, two public subnets, right? Public subnet 1 and 2. Okay, wherein my web server would be residing. Okay, I will create a EC2 instance, so which is called the web server. Okay, and then there are my application server is going to be reside in the respective availability zone, but the subnet would be private. So this subnet would be private. This is also would be another subnet in the different availability zone to make it highly available, and the application server is going to be reside. I will create two application server, you know similar configuration, and within the private subnets. Then again, my RDS, here I am taking the database server as a RDS instance. Okay, relational database instance, which is provided by AWS. So this is again would be in within the private subnet, the okay, private subnet 1 and private subnet again. So in here I can see that there are four private subnet, two for application server, two for database server, and there are two, you can see the public subnet, which is for application web server. Okay, so this is the infrastructure, and okay, this is I'm going to create, and then we have a, you can see that there are application load balancer, right? In front of to routing the traffic or load for load balancing purpose, there is an application load balancer. The route 53 is optional. If it could be or it may not be. For this video, we are not going to talk much about route 53, but there are we can place the route 53 in front of our application load balancer, you know to make the highly performing infrastructure basically. So okay, and we have an internet gateway. So my web server, would be residing in the public subnet, and then those web servers, because it's in public subnet, so there will be internet gateway. So the traffic would can communicate both ways, for the public subnet. But internet gateway cannot be configured in the private subnets, that we are going to see when we create the subnets and route table, etc., etc. Okay, so then to communicate or to upgrade the infrastructure in the private subnets, let's say we are going to Apache and PSP, these kind of, if we want to see the upgrade, so we somehow need to connect to the internet from the private subnet also. So what we would do in those cases is we create the net gateway. So through net gateway would be always residing in the public subnet. So that is you need to take care of. So then through net gateway, my private subnets would be communicating to the internet, so that the patches, upgrade, and everything can be installed. But this communication would be from the private subnet to the internet, not vice versa. Okay, that is we need to take care. Right. So this my RDS is multi-AZ actually. So this is a master database instance, and this is another database instance which is called replica of it. And if any failure happens, then it would fail over to the secondary database instance. Okay. So I think we have talked about also this infrastructure. Let's go ahead and start creating the infrastructure. Okay, my end goal is to we will be having a web application which would be trying to communicate through these infrastructure up till the RDS database instance. Okay, so we will create the web servers, we will create the application server, we will have a database servers, and then we will try to hit the application load balancer DNS, and then we are going to communicate to the database is this one. Okay, now let's hook up to the AWS management console. So I have an open actually. So EC2 dashboards, currently we don't have anything running over here. So we will create the VPC first actually. So according to this infrastructure basically. So when we create a VPC, right? So go to the VPC dashboard, and there is an create VPC. And if you want standalone VPC, then you can choose the VPC only option. Otherwise, you can choose this option. So it will create an entire infrastructure. Actually, you don't have to create a subnets, route tables, network connections like internet gateway or net gateway, or VPC interfaces and all. You don't have to endpoints and all. You don't have to create separately. So you can specify over here. You give the name. Let's say my project VPC. If I give this name, and you give the this one cider block for the VPC. Let's say if I give the cider block like one, it is by default it is coming. Otherwise, I can see like I can give this number also, right? 20, let's say 0.0, and then let's say 20. So there are 4096 IPs in within this entire virtual private cloud. So these are the number of IPs we can use. And how many availability zone we want? We can say one or two, or if we want highly available, we can say like we are going to create all the things, respective subnets and route table, you know, in the three availability zone, right? And then number of public is subnets. So you can say, let's say three we are creating. each for availability, one availability zone, right? And number of private subnet we are going to create, let's say 6, because 3 for application server and 3 for the database server. And whether we want to create, because it's an NAT gateway is chargeable, so do you want the NAT gateway, to be created? So for minimize my cost, I can create a NAT gateway in one availability zone. So you can see that. So there are NAT gateway in each public subnet, right? So you can create in each one, but to minimize the cost, I'm creating for, let's say, here only. So I can say that I will be needing NAT gateway for one of the public subnet. Or do you want an endpoint, right, to communicate to the DynamoDB or S3? We need a VPC endpoint, right? So I am not going to create currently. And also DNS option, you enable it if it is not enabled already. While you create, enable DNS hostname, enable DNS resolution. Okay. Additional tags and you all, you if you want to create, you do it. Otherwise, not necessary, optional thing. Okay. So once you do this, this is so for this option, the beauty is like you don't have to create a multiple things. So you just create the thing, create, click on create VPC. You will have VPC created. You have all the subnets created in the different availability zone, and then you will have a respective route tables created. You don't have to worry about. So my public route table would be internet facing, and my private will not be internet facing. So those kind of things you can create, right? And then and then there will be internet gateway created and net gateway created. So if you do this, everything will be created. So I am not going to create it because I have already created. So if you look at this VPC, my VPC name is 3-tier VPC. So if you look at this, there are 3 subnets, right? These are 3 public subnets. Public subnet 1, 2, and 3 in different availability zone, and then the respective route tables. Okay, and internet gateway and net gateway. So everything is there, right? So if you look at this picture, right, I have created subnets, I have created VPC, I have created route table. So route table is to communicate, to clear that, to specify that, which one, I mean, the traffic can be routed to, right? So which security group, you know. So if you look at the subnets, right? So we have these kind of subnets, right? If you sort it, so all the subnets are there. And if you look at the subnet, so the see the route table, right? So this looks like an NAT gate. It's in a private. It looks like it's in a private subnet, right? Private subnets, and then automatically it came. Actually, I did not create it actually. Otherwise, what you do is you need to edit the route actually. So my if you look at the public subnets, right? See take one of the public subnet. This is public subnet. This will be associated with, if you look at the route table. So there will be IGW in the sense of internet gateway. So the all the traffic would be targeting into the internet gateway, right? That route table configuration would be there. So if you look at the any public private one, so it will not have internet gateway. Rather, it would have the NAT. So see, NAT gateway is there. Okay. So the target is NAT gateway for the internet traffic. So this is the route tables, right? So you can see that we have one NAT gateway, we have a security group, we don't have anything. So as soon as we are creating the infrastructure, the EC2 instances and servers and all, we are going to create the respective security group, okay? And what else we have? Nothing as of now. So VPC, respective VPC infrastructure I have created, okay? Now go to the EC2 instances. So currently we don't have any EC2 instance. So now what we are going to do is we are going to create the one of the web server. Okay. So we'll launch the instance and give the name as web server. Okay. And I will take the Linux instance. Okay. Free tier eligible. Make sure that you do it. Do select this one, instant T2 micro, that is sufficient. And key pair name. So this is for accessing the login SSH to the host name. So we are going to SSH, so therefore we are going to create it, otherwise you can ignore it. Create new key pair, give the new key pair web app key, let's say. So it will be, when I will create it, there will be a file downloaded .pem file, okay. So this I have downloaded, this will be downloaded, okay. So this we have created a network settings. So where we are going to be place this, web server. So we will place this web server in the my created 3-tier VPC. And what would be the subnet? My public subnet. Let me check which one. I will place in public subnet 1 app south 1 a region. And public IP I need it because this is the internet facing subnet. So I need to have the enable. I need to enable the auto assign public IP. Okay. And then it is asking for the firewall, basically security group for firewall and all firewall settings. So create security group. Yes, we need a security group. So web sg, let's say I'm giving the name web sg. Okay, and the description also I'm giving, let's say web sg. And I'm not going to modify the inbound security group role. So this is SSH, okay, from anywhere. Okay, this is already the security group rule, inbound rule. So I'm not going to modify anything else over here. So I'm going to launch it, and I will see that this action is pending. So meanwhile, it does come into the success stage, and to success check, we will create the another instance actually, which will be belonging to the app server. Okay. So let me check app PHP server one, let's say, and I'm taking the same actually. So everything would remain as same. I will create a new key pair which will be app server key. Okay. Again, my key pair will be PAM key would be unloaded. So the network settings. So currently we need to modify it. So I'm going to place in the same VPC, and the subnet would be private. Private one actually. Let me check where is the private. No, yeah, private one. Okay. I'm not going to do the auto assign public IP because my this subnet is not going to be internet facing. Okay. And app server security group. Okay, I'm going to create it. So my both the sorry my both the this one application server would be using the same application this security group. Okay. And here this SSH I'm allowing from the not from anywhere basically. Type is anywhere. Okay. SSH TCP 22 custom I would say, and I would say app SSG. Okay, I have web. So my would be web SG. Okay. So what I have done is like, so you can do the SSH from not from anywhere. I would be doing the SSH to this server from the this one from the security group of the web application. So I have created the security group, right, already web SG. So I'm going to do the web SG this ID, okay, security group ID. So this is it, and I will launch instance. This is my first this one. I will create two. I will create one web server. I will create two application server. So this one still okay. By the time it comes up, right, we'll create another one. So I'll take the name from here. So I'll create the number two, server number two, and this would be again easy thing, and key pair I would use the uh, server, and network settings would remain exactly same but in the different subnet. So my private subnet 2, where is the private subnet 2? This one is the private subnet 2, and then no public IP, and the existed, I would use the existed this one security group which I have created for the application server, and I don't have to do any SSH thing because SSH belongs to the app server SG, so it would automatically come and launch instance. So let's see how long it will take. So maybe I think my PHP server would, what happened? Hmm. Oh, okay. I thought where it went. So okay. So by the time it comes up, right, we'll try to log in into the this one. Try to log in into the public server, web server basically. So what I would do is I need to create the PPK key. Okay, let's open the putty gen actually. So because I'm using the web, my this one my laptop operating system is Windows operating system. So and my this one is Linux, right? So need to generate the key actually. So I would be loading the this one. So web key, and then okay, and then you save it. So this should be stored as a web app key. This is going to my PPK key. Close it. Go to the putty. Putty Zen and putty, right? So open putty. Go to connection SSH and authorization credentials, and browse the private key file for authentication, and you have this key all like okay. So you do it, and then you go to the session. Okay, you go the host name. So this is my web server. Okay, for host name you can take the public IP address, and then you place this host here, and then you do it, then accept it, and EC2 user is going to be my this one user, right? So if you do that from the putty, you can log in, right? 10.0.13 is my right. 10.0.0.30, this is my private IP of this one, right? So if you uh, host name is like, if you want to see, this is my host name, okay? Compute.internal private DNS name. Where is the private DNS? This is going to become host name, right? So public IP is for the login from the outside, to identify from the outside, all right? And internal IP address is my host name, right? So this machine is going to be identified using this IP, right? This private IP within the VPC. So okay, this is regarding a VPC. Okay, so now let's see. I mean, where are we with respect to the VC? Why this? Okay, with respect to the this one. So I can see that system check has come 2 by 2 checks passed. Everything is running. Okay. Now look at the. Let's go try to go into the uh, this one PHP server one. This let's see what we can install everything. Right? Apache and PHP. So those installation things uh, we are going to do in the private subnet. and I mean the PSP app servers. Okay. So let's see. I mean, if I do connect, so you can have this string, right? So I can use this string uh, uh, to uh, login. And before that, I need to have the PAM key actually. So where are we? I'm in here. PWD. I can create this key. Okay. Uh, so you remember that we have this one, right? We had the PAM key for the app server, right? So you do it, you open it. So you copy this one, and then you create the key over here and save it and give the permission. Okay. So let me check this one also. You can run it actually. So permissions I have given. Now what I would do is I would copy this and I will go into this server. So yes. So if you look at this, so my hostname becomes 10.0.0.138. So if you look at this instance app server 1, right? So my private is 10 private IP is 2.138, right? 10.0.0.138. So I am there in the PSP server 1, app server 1. Now try to install the things. So I am going to give the link for this actually. So to prepare the LAMP server, so you can do is you can copy this. There are commands actually. You can follow this document basically to configure or to installation and those kind of things. So what you can do is you can copy this command and try running actually. So let me see. So this is no dependency resolved, complete, nothing to do, right? Let me do this one if it is required. Okay. MariaDB, right? We don't need MariaDB actually. So we will skip these steps basically. But we will need the web server, Apache web server, right? So let me check. I'm going to run this command one by one. So you also, when you try it, you also follow the same actually. So I will enable this the PSP servers. I enabled it, and me let me go to the. So this is for this one. We need to give the permissions actually. So I'm going to change the group actually for the EC2 user. So this I need to do for both of the servers basically. So now I'm going to exit it and then again I will log in back. So you go back, so you'll have this, okay? And then you check the groups, if groups, okay? So you can see that there is an EC2 user admin whale Apache system journal, okay? So this kind of output you can see, right? And then you change the ownership of the where www, this is the directory actually, wherein the initial configuration set, I mean the ownership we need to change actually. So the content would be stored over here actually. So give the permission for the directories and give the permission for the file, recursive permission for the files and all. Okay. Now, no, we don't have to do anything over here, and then we don't have to do this one also. We don't have to do this one as well. No MariaDB. Okay, I need to do this one. Okay, PSP XML, this kind of things I need to do. This is complete, and then I need to restart it. Restart my this one web server. Okay, and CD I need to do, and then I need to do the I need to get the tower for the PSP my admin. Okay, so this may take some time. and then I need to I need to create the PSP my admin directory, and I need to extract those tar file within that directory. Okay. And okay, and then I need to remove the tar file, and nothing else, right? Need to do the this final thing. So I need to go to the I need to go to the this one. I have steps actually. So let me close this. That I have done, right. So I need to I'll check whether this one is created curl. I need to go to the curl command actually. Can curl it actually localhost. Yeah, I think it works actually. So that is fine. So where are currently I need to go to the HTML. So what I will do is I'll create a index.html. So for first PHP server, let me create this one. So let me exit it and I'll go to the second app server. I'll need to configure this one as well, right? Now let me instances, right? So go to the server second one and then try to copy this this connection string, and go to the same, right? My the app server key is same, right? So this will work, and then I need to follow the every step of it, and then again all steps I need to follow actually. So I can do this configuration as well, or over here as well. MariaDB not required. My Apache web server I need to have. Apache server, those three commands, and then enable the Apache. Nothing else is required. Need change the ownership, group, exit, again come back. This is 148, right? Some server, check the groups. We have great. Change the ownership of this where at www. Do this. Okay. Respective files as well. 664, right? Yeah, done. This I don't need. PSP my admin, nothing required. Not required. Start MariaDB not required. MariaDB not required. This PSP my admin I have to have. I need to restart my web server. Okay, and restart PSP, restart app server, restart PSP within that, and then go to the HTML and do this. Get the PSP my admin latest configuration. Create the directory, untar it, remove the tar file, and nothing else. And then I need to enable the this one. And then I have error. Need to check. I need to create the index.html in the second server as well. So now what we need to do is we have most of it actually. So we have created the app server. So let me create the application load balancer first actually. So that I will check this two-tier structure. Okay. So let me go to the this one application load balancer. Okay. I have a load balancer in the EC2. Okay. Let's create a load balancer. I will create the application load balancer. Create application load balancer. Name ALB. Mm, let's say my ALB. I'm giving the name as my ALB. So my this one will be internet facing. So you know that there are two types: internal within the VPC, or you can have a internet facing, right? The traffic will come from outside and then it will route or load balance within to the VPC. Okay, so that will be where it will go. It will be decided upon the this one. So there will be network mapping. So I'm using this one. So uh, so mappings would be like select at least two availability zones. So I will select, let us say, two availability zone. Okay, one A and one B. Private one, yeah, and then for this one I will have public two. Okay, network settings. So my this subnet would be in the public actually. So you know that my ALB would be uh, within the public subnets. So net so see the load balancer route traffic to targets in the deselected subnet. So it will the traffic will first come into the public subnets and then it will target to the this one. Okay, so you need to have public one and public two. Let's say one A and one B. That's what we have done, right? One A and one B. These availability zones. So therefore, I'm not going to create in the third one, but we have another subnet as well. You can create for making it highly available. You can have another availability zone over here as well. And then security group. So I would be creating my new security group, right? So create a security group. My ALBSG would be my name. Let me give the same this one. VPC would be, I will this thread, this, right? And then my, so, uh, okay. And then there will be outbound rule. So, okay. So let's create the security group. So this is my security group, right? Security group for the on this one. And create the security group. So as soon as the security group is there, then you can refresh it and you can see that there will be ALBSG, right? So you can assign that. You can remove this previous one and you give the ALB security group and then you will have HTTP80. Okay, nothing is required. Global accelerator, I'm not going to do it. So you create a load balancer now. So I think we have done everything, right? So we have created the security group, this one also there. So you don't have to do, right? That you can read and see, right? ALB, HTTP, okay. Those kind of things are already will be there, okay. So security group and then listener routing, we don't have to do. Okay, target group. Okay, we did not do the target group. So create the target group. So go to the EC2, it will be in EC2 dashboard. So there will be instances. What is the target group? Let's say ALBTZ, right? And then there will be HTTP1 3-tier VPC, no problem. HTTP, okay. Okay. This is perfect. Health checks, HTTP, okay. Advanced health check settings, not required. Go to next. And then we will have, what are the target? So we will have PHP servers, right? So the target of this ELV is PHP servers. And so we will have a target for PHP. You do it and then you include in the pending window, right? So this has come. Then create the target group. So my target group is getting created, non-associated load balancer. What is this? Both are unhealthy actually currently. So some stickiness. So I'm going to do it, save changes. So okay, my target group is coming. So let me refresh this if it is come or not. Yeah, ALB has come. So these things you need to create, right? And nothing else is required, right? We have the target group, we have everything else in place. So create the load balancer and view application load balancer. So let me see it actually. So my load balancer has come and it is provisioning actually. So currently it is provisioning. So we will see in some time. And let me see the target group whether it is in there or not, right? So target registration is in progress basically. So see, this is in initial stage. So it will maybe take some time. So let's wait for it actually. So what we have done so far is like we have web server in place, we have application server in place, only we have load balancer in place. So if load balancer is working fine, then we will try to procure the database server basically. So that we are going to do, okay, for this infrastructure. So let me see if it is provisioned or not. Currently what is happening? It's still its initial stage actually. So I have enabled the session stickiness actually. So I'll tell you why I did it actually. Okay. So I think both are coming as unhealthy actually. So let's see, I mean, why they are coming as unhealthy. Okay, distribution traffic. Both are running is basically. Okay, I think I have. Okay. So go to the security group. Let me check what happened. Oh, let me. There are security groups, right? So I would be going into the app server security group and inbound traffic. I need to edit. So I need to add the custom TCP port 80, right? And I have to have the from the this one. This is web server, right? So I have to have the ALB. No, it's not ALB, ALB. So I need to accept the traffic, you know, which is coming from some CPP or HTTP, I think. Okay, I need to have accept the traffic, which is coming from the ALB. So that I need to do. Okay, otherwise it will come unhealthy only. State is active, so let me check now. Now it will be reachable, I guess. No. Load balancer. Security isn't by AWS monitoring. Still are unhealthy, basically. Let's wait for it. Application load balancer. Where is the load balancer? It is inactive. It's not reachable. The security group for your load balancer does not allow traffic on this listener port. Manage your security group. Okay, the security group of your load balancer. Okay, let me go to the security group. ALB security group. Okay, I need to give the 80. Oh, it was not there, right? So I need to give the rules for 80, port number 80. My from the internet, my traffic was not coming actually. Where is that? So this is for IPv4. I'm allowing traffic on port 80. Okay, and then I'm trying to for IPv4 and IPv6 both of these. So that's how we learn it actually. So I think now it will be corrected. So where is that load balancer? Load balancer, load balancer. Now it is. Let me see if it is okay or not. ARN, it is received an ARN. Let me check this one as well. Target group, if it is healthy or not. Still unhealthy. It become healthy, right? So now what we can do is like, so my load balancer. Go to the load balancer. This is my load balancer, and this is the DNS name. So if you copy this DNS name here, and then you'll try to access it. Or try to access the index.html, right? Index.html. Okay. So if you look at this, this is coming as a PHP server one. We have created that index.html, right, in both the servers, one we have given this string, right? PSV server 2 and 1, right? So if you refresh it, so you will see that sometimes it will be redirecting to the, why it is not redirecting to the, did I given the same string? Okay, PSV server 2. I think it is going into the first server only. Application load balancer. Let me check if it both are healthy or not. Load balancer. To availability zone. 1A, 1B, AZ1, AZ3. Okay. Not applicable. Mapping. South 1A, 1B. Security. ALB security, ठीक है. Monitoring. Okay. Give the attributes. Let me edit this one. Session stickiness I have done. I think that's when the problem. Where is the stickiness? I was expecting it should go into the second as well. I mean the app server 2. Okay, target groups. Where is? Let me check the target groups. Both are healthy. Both are healthy. Both are healthy. Oh, it is because of, I think, stickiness. 1 day stickiness. Let me disable this and then save it. I think now let me try to do that. So let me go to the this one. Load balancer, DMS name, index.html, PSV server 1. Yeah, because it was, stickiness was there. Stickiness in the sense of it will give us response from the same server as actually. So therefore, it was not going into the second one actually. So okay, now it is going to the second one. So what we have done so far is like if you look at this infrastructure, right? So we have created two layers actually, the public layer and the private first application layer and the web layer, web server layer. Okay. Now let's do the this one, this DB third layer, right? The lower layer actually. Now try to go into the RDS actually. So create the DB database. Just go to create the database. Standard creation. I'm going to create the MySQL database. And then MySQL, nothing else is required over here. Then free tier eligible. Okay. and no more settings. My database identifier also, I don't have to give anything. Give the password, right, as you desire, like maybe 3. And then what I have done, database name, that is fine. Username you need to remember admin, and then you need to remember the password so that we can log in, right? And T3 micro, that is fine. Now storage, I don't want auto scaling of the storage. Now the connectivity part. Now the virtual private cloud part, and then we are going to use the same VPC which we have created. So now it is asking for the subnet group, right? So the subnet group it is asking, right? So let me create the subnet group first and then we'll come here. I think it will be in the VPC, right? So let me, this is VPC, EC2 dashboard, okay, VPC, and where, okay, where are we actually? Subnet group, right? Subnet group, to create the subnet DV subnet, right? Oh, I think it will be in the RDS console even, right? RDS, in the RDS this will be there. So my subnet group, okay, I'll remove first and then we'll create again actually. So create DB subnet group. You need give the my DB subnet group. Okay, my DB subnet group. Same description I would be giving, and VPC you give this one, and then availability zone, right? Let's say we are going into to availability zone. We are going, right. Subnets we are going to use the. You need to remember as basically we are going to take the two availability zone, one A and VV, and let me go to the VPC console. So we need to give the proper subnets basically. So these are my all subnets basically. So my private 1, private 2, these are okay, private 4 and private 5. So my public is for web server. My this 1 to 3, private 1 to 3 is for the application server, and private 4, 5, 6 is for the database server. So I'm going to use the 4 and 5, let's say. So 161 and AFD I'm going to use. So 161, this one I will use, and AFD, right? This one. So that I will use. Okay, my subnet has been registered. Now let me go to the DB, this one. So I think I need to refresh it. I'll go come back actually. Create database, standard create, mysql, everything is same, free tier eligible, and then admin, uh, password I'll give this one. This you need to remember, admin is the user. T3 micro, I'm not going to enable the auto scaling for the storage. I would be using T3, tier T3 VPC, my subnet group, my DB subnet group, my DB subnet group, right? Yeah, it is there. And then public access, no. create new. So VPC security group it is asking. So I need to create a new security group, right? So security group I need to give the name as a DBSG. For reference is my 1A, let's say, availability zone, RDS proxy, not password authenticate, enable enhanced monitoring. I'm not going to do additional configuration, even not going to do create the database. So I have, this will take some time. Yeah, it is creating, right? So meanwhile, what I can do is, so I have created the subnet group, right, for the database. So so if you look at here, right, so my database subnet group should accept the traffic coming from the app subnet group, right, which is 3306. So let me go to the VPC and subnet group. I have created the DB subnet group, right? DB subnet group, inbound rule, added the inbound rule. So what I can do is I'll add the 3306. I'll, I'll add the rule, okay, 3306, and you need to give the SG. So app server SG, right? So this I need to give, I need to remove this earlier, which were adjusted, and then save it. So 3306, the database port, right? So which is coming in from the TCP port, let's say SQL. So I should have, this one should be accepted. So let me go to the database and let me check whether it is available or not. So currently it is not. So meanwhile, what I can do is let me go to the ALB subnet group. It is there. So VPC EC2 instance, application load balancer. You copy this DNS name and we will do one thing. I'll exit it. Okay. I'll use the first app server EC2. I can copy and paste over here. This is my host name. Okay. ALB subnet group. My load balancer, this one. Okay. My load balancer DNS name base basically. So what you can do is you go to the instances. You pick the first this one and then you try to connect it. And then you try to connect it and we are there, right? So we are in the this one PHP server one, and then we are going to, where are we'll go to the PHP admin. Okay, PHP admin directory. I think it is not there. PHP my admin. Do we have here? Yeah, here I have. So I have installed, right, the PHP things and all. So if you go to here, you will see one file called config.sample. Inc.php. You need to rename this basically. You need to remove the sample thing. You need to rename, and then you will see this file, right? So you modify this file config.inc.php, and then go to host, search the host, and then you need, instead of local host, you need to give the this name actually. So you need to give the this one load balancer DNS name. Okay, you copy this. We have copied from there, right? So you need to give this and then save it. So your thing is configured. Okay. Now let's see, whether database is up and down. Okay. Backing up. Actually, it's taking some more time actually. So everything we have created now. Testing time actually. Yeah. So what I will go, I'll going to do is, I'll give this link actually. So you need to follow this whenever you create the infrastructure. Okay. To enhance this, we can have an Route 53, right? And we can make it as a highly available while creating the servers. While creating the same infrastructure in another availability zone. This is how we can make it highly available. And with respect to the database, this is also can be have a multi-AZ, there is a read replica can be created and all. All right, and let's see. This infrastructure. So one more note is like after doing everything, you remove the infrastructure which we have taken, otherwise it will be charging. So database, specifically the databases as EC2 instances, right? So VPC I think is not chargeable, so VPC is okay. It's taking time. Okay. So this is still it is taking time. I don't know how much time it will take. Do we have anything log and all? No. So we have a logs and all. Here is okay. MySQL upgrade. Cloud alarm. Hence monitoring is not enabled on your DB instance. The recommendations are also there. Multi-AZ instance, we recommend that you use the multi-AZ deployment. The multi-AZ deployment instance, the availability and durability of the. So this is also another more thing actually. It provides the recommendation also while looking at the infrastructure. So AWS provides the recommendation, storage auto scaling off. So this is also we have done from our side, right? So because it's when we create the production like infrastructure, then we need to enable one of or multiple of these options basically. So maintenance and backup as well. Nice. Connectivity and security. Replication, we have a replication enabled, I think this is right. Instance one security group cider monitoring. There are multiple things actually, logs and all. So let's see if it is there or not. Yeah, it isn't available. Okay. So my database is available. I have security group. I have also configured, right? So if you look at the security group, so database security group, and then edit inbound rule I have done, right? So that is also good thing. Okay. Now what we can do is PSP my admin. Give this one PSP. So now it started coming, right? Welcome to, and if you give your credential, right, admin and the password, it will not be logging in actually. Just because session stickiness and all, right? So what we can do is we can go to the target groups, not VPC, it's an EC2. target groups, and you remember we have done the attribute modification, right? Stickiness enablement and all. So what we can do is we can do the stickiness enablement, save the changes, and open this in incognito mode. Within here, go to the incognito mode, and then